Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to our channel, where we delve into the fascinating narratives that shape the world's most iconic figures. Today, we embark on an extraordinary cinematic journey, one that offers a rare glimpse into the very soul of a storytelling titan, Steven Spielberg. We all know him as the maestro behind some of the most spectacular cinematic achievements of our time. He's the visionary who brought us the awe-inspiring wonder of dinosaurs roaming the Earth, the chilling encounters with extraterrestrial beings, and the visceral, heart-wrenching realities of war epics. His filmography is a tapestry woven with blockbusters and critically acclaimed dramas, a testament to his unparalleled genius. But what truly shapes a director of such magnitude? What are the foundational stories, the very blueprints, that ignited his imagination and guided his hand? Today, we peel back the layers of his illustrious career to uncover the 6 films that didn't just influence Steven Spielberg, they fundamentally transformed him. These aren't mere casual recommendations. They are the cinematic touchstones that echo, sometimes subtly, sometimes unmistakably, through every frame he's ever directed. Once you understand the profound impact of these particular masterpieces on his creative consciousness, his entire body of work will suddenly make even more profound sense. Before we embark on this captivating exploration, do remember to like this video, share it with fellow film enthusiasts, and, most importantly, subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue bringing you these in-depth looks into the stories behind the legends. And make sure to stay with us until the very end, because we'll reveal the one film Spielberg himself calls perfect, the singular masterpiece that, in his own words, compelled him to pick up a camera in the first place. Let's begin our countdown to the films that forged a legend. Number 6, Lawrence of Arabia, 1972. Some films don't merely influence a director's craft. They become an enduring obsession, a haunting presence that shapes their artistic identity. For a 16-year-old Steven Spielberg, Lawrence of Arabia was precisely that. He first encountered David Lean's breathtaking epic in 1962, and, by his own admission, he did not leave the theater the same person. It was, as he vividly recalls, the pivotal moment he truly comprehended the boundless potential of what a motion picture could truly be. Lawrence of Arabia is an undisputed masterpiece, a sprawling historical drama chronicling the enigmatic T.E. Lawrence and his pivotal role in the Arab Revolt during World War I. Filmed against the majestic, unforgiving backdrop of the Jordanian desert, Lean's vision was nothing short of monumental. From the seemingly endless desert vistas that stretch to the horizon, conveying both the vastness of the world and the solitude of man, to the meticulously crafted razor-sharp dissolves that effortlessly transition between scenes, propelling the narrative forward with an almost poetic grace, Lean created a cinematic canvas that Spielberg would revisit and learn from for the rest of his life. Spielberg has openly confessed that this film fundamentally changed his brain. It altered his perception of how to frame scenes, how to meticulously pace a story, and crucially, how to wield the power of silence. When you watch Spielberg's own epic war films, such as the visceral Saving Private Ryan, the tense political thriller, Munich, or the sweeping wartime drama, War Horse, you can distinctly feel the profound influence of Lean in every expansive wide shot. Think of the iconic D-Day landing sequence in Saving Private Ryan. Its initial moments of overwhelming sound punctuated by stark, terrifying silence, a technique drawn straight from Lawrence of Arabia's own powerful use of quietude in its opening titles. The deep-focused cinematography, allowing multiple planes of action and immense scale to coexist within a single frame, is another hallmark he inherited from Lean's exacting eye. But Lawrence of Arabia's impact on Spielberg wasn't confined to its visual splendor or technical prowess. What truly moved him was its profound paradox. A hero who was anything but traditionally heroic, a grand war epic that delved deep into the inner collapse of its protagonist. Lean didn't merely show you what a man did, he masterfully illuminated who that man was. Becoming. Spielberg has frequently referred to it as his quintessential desert island movie, a film he would choose above all others if stranded. His devotion runs so deep that when Columbia Pictures undertook the monumental task of restoring the film in the late 1980s, Spielberg personally lent his expertise and oversight to the meticulous process. Each time he returns to it, Spielberg reiterates the same sentiment. It continues to teach him something new, a testament to its enduring artistic depth and complexity. Number 5. 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968. Steven Spielberg is a director renowned for his ability to connect with audiences through emotion and narrative clarity. Yet, when it comes to Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey, Spielberg never pretended to fully grasp its intricate meanings, and paradoxically, that's precisely why he worshipped it. Kubrick, in his audacious vision, didn't seek to explain. He sought to provoke. He didn't guide his audience, he dared them to contemplate. "It blew my mind," Spielberg has stated, and it still does every time I see it. In Spielberg's own filmmaking universe, often characterized by warmth, human connection, and clear storytelling, 2001 stood as a cold, distant, yet utterly captivating star. It was beautiful in its precision, unknowable in its profound ambiguity, and Spielberg simply couldn't tear his gaze away from it. The film's defining characteristics, its extended periods of profound silence, the mesmerizing, almost balletic choreography of machines navigating the vast cosmos, and the audacious notion that space isn't inherently exciting, but rather terrifyingly, existentially empty, all challenge Spielberg's conventional understanding of narrative and spectacle. The chilling, logical voice of HAL 9000 asserting, "This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it," encapsulates the film's chilling detachment and intellectual rigor. Spielberg has candidly admitted to watching 2001 repeatedly, not just for its visual grandeur, but specifically to feel small. This wasn't a feeling of insignificance in the face of the universe, but rather a profound awe for the sheer, limitless possibilities of what cinema itself could achieve. Kubrick, in Spielberg's view, taught filmmakers that a movie doesn't always need to painstakingly explain itself. It simply needs to remain true to its own unique artistic vision. While their individual styles often seemed to clash, Kubrick's icy intellectualism versus Spielberg's heartfelt emotionalism, they shared a profound, unspoken respect, becoming what Spielberg termed secret collaborators. This deep connection culminated in a poignant moment before Kubrick's passing, when he reached out to Spielberg for advice on his long-gestating AI project, ultimately entrusting the vision to him. Spielberg accepted without hesitation, recognizing it as a sacred duty, stating, "You don't say no to your oracle." The influence of 2001 can be felt throughout Spielberg's own work, in the initial awe and mystery of the alien encounters in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, in the sleek, minimalist technological aesthetic of Minority Report, and most directly in the haunting, contemplative mood of AI artificial intelligence. Yet Spielberg never attempted to mimic Kubrick's distinct style. Instead, he allowed Kubrick's profound artistic legacy to orbit his own, integrating its lessons into his unique vision. Some directors Spielberg understood, you learn from. Others you endlessly chase, inspired by their unattainable heights. Number 4. A Guy Named Joe, 1943. Before Steven Spielberg conjured the terrifying wonder of dinosaurs, the awe-inspiring presence of aliens, or the harrowing realities of soldiers storming Omaha Beach, there was a quiet, unassuming film called A Guy Named Joe. This 1943 wartime romance, directed by Victor Fleming, wasn't flashy. It wasn't an epic in the conventional sense, but for young Spielberg, it was the very first time a film made him feel everything. "It hit me like a thunderbolt," he reminisced. "I saw it on TV when I was a kid, and I cried my eyes out." The story is deceptively simple, yet deeply resonant. A daring, reckless pilot tragically dies in combat, only to return as a benevolent spirit, guiding a younger, inexperienced flyer. It was a tale steeped in romanticism, imbued with a touch of the supernatural, and utterly strange in its premise. Crucially, it was precisely the kind of profoundly moving story, exploring themes of loss, guidance, and enduring love across the veil of existence, that Spielberg would spend his entire career chasing. The film's gentle wisdom, encapsulated in lines like, "Just sit back and let the ship fly herself. Remember, this airplane knows more about flying than you'll ever know. I said, relax," offered a profound sense of comfort and mysticism to the young boy. As a child, Spielberg lacked the sophisticated vocabulary to articulate the complex emotions that a guy named Joe stirred within him. Yet the film gifted him an undeniable feeling, a poignant blend of grief and hope, of profound sacrifice and the promise of redemption, all beautifully wrapped in a cloak of supernatural wonder. He never forgot its powerful impact. In fact, decades later, his enduring affection for the film manifested in a deeply personal project: his 1989 remake, Always. This wasn't merely another directorial assignment, it was a heartfelt love letter, a profound thank you note to the film that had so profoundly shaped his formative years. "I didn't want to outdo it," Spielberg explained. "I just wanted to relive it." While the critics of the time weren't universally kind to Always, Spielberg remained unfazed. That film, he understood, wasn't made for them. It was made for the wide-eyed kid who had once stayed up late, glued to the television screen, watching Spencer Tracy's poignant farewell, discovering the very essence of human emotion through cinema. Because some movies don't just teach you the how-to of directing, they illuminate the profound why. They instill in you the fundamental purpose of storytelling. And from A Guy Named Joe, Spielberg never stopped learning that vital lesson. Number 3, Fantasia, 1940. Before Steven Spielberg fully grasped the intricacies of plot development, the nuances of character arcs, or the power of compelling dialogue, he instinctively understood the transformative magic of sound. And Walt Disney's groundbreaking animated classic, Fantasia, didn't merely entertain him, it utterly possessed him. "It was like the screen opened and swallowed me," he recounted, describing an experience that transcended passive viewing. Fantasia wasn't just a movie. It was, in his young mind, a vibrant, all-encompassing hallucination. This audacious 1940 film was Disney's pioneering dream of seamlessly blending the majesty of classical music with the boundless possibilities of hand-drawn animation. It was an explosion of pure emotion, unfettered by conventional narrative rules. For a young Spielberg, it was the very first time film felt like unadulterated magic, a medium capable of creating experiences utterly unlike anything else. He credits Fantasia with profoundly changing how he heard movies, teaching him that rhythm and tempo could intricately shape a story, and that visuals possess the extraordinary ability to dance and convey meaning without a single spoken word. When you revisit Spielberg's own iconic films, the echoes of Fantasia resonate powerfully. Consider the unforgettable sequence in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where humanity attempts to communicate with alien visitors, not through language, but through a series of 5 distinct musical notes. This rising, trembling orchestration, building suspense and wonder, is pure Disney by way of Spielberg, a direct lineage from Fantasia's concept of music as a universal language. Even the breathtaking, iconic bike flight scene in E.T. The Extraterrestrial carries that same expansive sweep, weightless, profoundly musical, and utterly transcendent, elevating a simple chase into a moment of pure, unfettered joy and magic through its powerful score. "Fantasia taught me that story isn't always what characters say," Spielberg profoundly states. "It's what the music feels." Decades later, he still speaks of the film with an almost childlike awe. He doesn't attempt to dissect its technical achievements. Instead, he simply remembers the overwhelming sensation of it washing over him, an immersive sensory experience. And if you were to ask him for the secret to crafting a movie that captivates both children and adults simultaneously, he wouldn't immediately point to a script or a complex plot. He would, without hesitation, mention Fantasia. Because sometimes the wildest, most unconventional ideas, the ones that perhaps nobody fully grasps at first, are precisely the ones that embed themselves deepest into our collective consciousness, sticking with us forever. Number 2, The Godfather, 1972. When I saw The Godfather, I thought, I'll never be that good. This stark admission from Steven Spielberg reveals the profound, almost debilitating awe that Francis Ford Coppola's 1972 crime saga instilled in him. It was a film so utterly masterful, so meticulously crafted, that it made a young, ambitious Spielberg briefly contemplate quitting the industry altogether. The sheer weight of its genius was overwhelming, Spielberg has often lauded Coppola's unparalleled use of shadows and silence in The Godfather, declaring that no one has ever used shadows and silence better in cinema. This isn't just a technical observation. It speaks to the film's profound ability to convey dread, moral decay, and the chilling exercise of power without recourse to bombast or overt exposition. The quiet menace of Marlon Brando's Don Corleone, the insidious unraveling of morality within the family, and the palpable tension created by deliberate pauses and dimly lit interiors all contribute to an atmosphere of quiet dread that has few equals. The influence of The Godfather on Spielberg's own dramatic sensibility, particularly in his more mature and challenging works, is undeniable. One can distinctly feel its echoes in the somber, meticulously crafted tone of Schindler's List. The quiet dread that permeates that film, the insidious moral corrosion of individuals caught in an unspeakable evil, and the chilling portrait of power slowly unraveling lives, all owe a significant debt to Coppola's masterpiece. Similarly, the cold, methodical world depicted in Munich, with its complex ethical dilemmas and precise, almost surgical approach to its narrative, carries unmistakable reverberations of The Godfather's unflinching realism and moral ambiguity. The Godfather, Spielberg explains, made me slow down, stop showing off, just tell the truth frame by frame. For a director who, at times, had been known for his spectacular flourishes, this was a pivotal revelation. It taught him the profound power of restraint, the importance of allowing the truth of a moment, however unsettling, to simply exist on screen without embellishment. It was a lesson in maturity, in trusting the audience to connect with the raw, unvarnished reality of the story. Sometimes, the greatest compliment one director can bestow upon another is not praise, but the raw, unadulterated feeling of envy, a recognition of brilliance so profound it challenges one's own capabilities. And for Spielberg, The Godfather represented that pinnacle of cinematic artistry. Number 1, It's a Wonderful Life, 1946. And now we arrive at the film Steven Spielberg calls perfect, the one that ignited his passion and made him first pick up a camera. It isn't a blockbuster filled with special effects, nor is it a technical marvel celebrated for its innovative cinematography. Instead, it is a deceptively simple story, a man, a town, a single pivotal moment. And for Steven Spielberg, Frank Capra's 1946 holiday classic, It's a Wonderful Life, was everything. It's the movie that made me believe in stories, he profoundly stated. Not in Hollywood, not in cinema, but in stories. When Spielberg first watched It's a Wonderful Life, he wasn't analyzing its narrative structure or directorial choices. He was holding his breath, utterly absorbed. The harrowing breakdown of George Bailey wasn't merely a plot point to him. It felt deeply personal, resonating with a profound understanding of human struggle and despair. Spielberg later confessed that he cried harder than he ever had in front of a screen, a testament to the film's raw, unfiltered emotional power. The desperate plea of George Bailey crying out, "Clarence, Clarence, help me, Clarence," echoes with a universal human longing for help and meaning. What Capra achieved with It's a Wonderful Life was, in its essence, deceptively simple. There were no aliens, no gangsters, no grand conspiracies. It was simply life itself, falling apart, piece by agonizing piece, and then, miraculously, somehow coming back together through the power of community and self-worth. That quiet courage, the profound ability to find monumental scale and universal truths within the ordinary fabric of everyday life, became an enduring obsession for Spielberg. You can trace this profound influence throughout his own filmography. You see it unmistakably in E.T. the Extraterrestrial, where a suburban kid discovers an entire galaxy of wonder and connection right in his own backyard, finding extraordinary magic in an ordinary setting. You see it in Catch Me If You Can, where the profound absence of a father figure reverberates with more emotional weight and significance than any police siren or international manhunt. And perhaps most tellingly, you see it in his deeply personal, semi-autobiographical film, The Fabelmans, which might as well be Spielberg whispering to the audience, "This is my George Bailey," a story about a young man grappling with life's challenges, finding his purpose, and using the power of storytelling to make sense of his world. Capra, through George Bailey's journey, showed us that hope isn't a naive, Pollyannish delusion. It is, in fact, an act of profound bravery. Critics have often pointed to Spielberg's perceived sentimentality, sometimes with a dismissive tone. But for Spielberg, that sentiment wasn't a flaw. It was a learned virtue, a profound philosophy that originated in the snow-dusted streets of Bedford Falls. Because Frank Capra didn't just craft a movie, he left behind an entire philosophy of life and art, a steadfast belief that small lives matter, that quiet sacrifices echo through eternity, and that storytelling isn't merely about escapism, but about the profound journey of return, a return to self, to family, to community, and to the fundamental goodness of humanity. And for Steven Spielberg, that ultimately is all he has ever been trying to do. And there it is, dear viewers, the real behind-the-lens story of Steven Spielberg. 6 films that didn't just shape his illustrious career, they fundamentally shaped his soul. These weren't the obvious trend-setting picks, nor were they the easy choices. Instead, they were the films that lingered, embedding themselves deep within his consciousness, in their themes, in their tone, and most profoundly, in how they made him feel. Because for all his record-breaking box office successes and cinematic spectacles, Spielberg never truly chased grandiosity for its own sake. He chased feeling, the wonder of discovery, the dread of the unknown, the redemptive power of human connection, and that quiet, almost imperceptible kind of power that truly moves you, often without you even realizing it until the credits begin to roll. Now you've seen what inspired one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. The question, dear friends, is, what inspires you? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below which film on this extraordinary list resonated most deeply with you, or perhaps share a film that has profoundly shaped your own life and perspective. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the minds of cinematic legends and want more behind-the-scenes insights, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next captivating update. We're just getting started on this incredible journey. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.